What's going on, my Century in the Galaxy? It's the Central Man here, so back again with another episode of the MCU Movie Review Series. So today I'm reviewing the first movie of Phase 2 of the MCU, that is Iron Man 3. This movie was released in May of 2013. Fun fact, because that year was the 5th anniversary of the start of the MCU. MCU stands for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I saw this movie when it was released in 2013 with my friend. I never knew it was May. It's been a long time since I saw this movie. I thought it was in July of that year because in that same time period, DC was starting to do their version of the cinematic universe. They call it the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. Their first movie was The Man of Steel, the Superman movie. I think that movie was released in June. This movie was released in May, so it's about a month, about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, that's a month. Anyway, this movie, this was a fun movie. I kind of like crap this movie because out of the three Iron Man movies, it's a fun fact that the first movie of Phase 1 of the MCU, that was Iron Man 1. I reviewed that movie a month ago. And the first movie of Phase 2 of the MCU was Iron Man 3. It's been 5 years since the start of the MCU. Yeah, Iron Man 2 was part of Phase 1. It sadly didn't do Iron Man 4 because, I think it has to do with timing. It's very sad because Thor's doing a fourth movie, Captain America didn't do a fourth movie. It has to do with timing. I don't want to get into it. So yeah, out of the three Iron Man movies, I placed it dead last. It gets the bronze medal, but when I watched it for the first time in 8 years, it's been a decade. I think I watched it before. That was by in the 2015, 2016 period, but I saw it the first time in 2013. First time in 8 years. I put it in number 2. It's the second best movie out of the Iron Man trilogy because there's 3 movies. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 is the best one. Second place has to be Iron Man 3, the movie I'm talking about right now. That's second place. Third place has to be Iron Man 2. I think this movie got some bits right because Iron Man 2 was a bit let down. In the villains department, instead of Sam Rockwell, he was a good one. And also the relationship development between Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. I think this movie really got things right. Got on the right track. So you had some problems, but it was still a fun film to watch, looking back, 8 years. So we got the original cast are back for this third movie. You got Robbie. I can call it, I'll call it Robbie. That's short for Roberts. Do I call him Robbie or Robert? So fuck it, let's call him Robbie. Yeah, Robbie Downey Jr. as Tony Stark Iron Man. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. Don Cheadle as Rhodey, James Rhodey Rhodes. Paul Bettany as Jarvis, the future Vision. That'll be in the future movies, including WandaVision. I think that's it. John Favreau. And by the way, John Favreau, who's, he appeared in the second movie as Happy Hogan. He appeared in the third movie. He, not directing this movie. The director for this movie was Shane Black. Shane Black appeared in the Predator movie way back in 1987. That was, if you're talking about Predator, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. That was a good movie. I want to review that movie one day. Predator. With Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Shane Black. I think Shane Black did the sequels of Predator. I think it's one in 2010, and the recent one, I'm guessing that was in 2018, about nearly 30 years after the first movie. Don't know if he did Alien vs Predator. I've never seen those movies. I heard it looks good. Anyway, let's get back to this review of Iron Man 3. Yeah, he was the director of this movie. This movie got a little bit dark. it was still funny, but at the same time, it was going in that dark direction. With Tony's character, it wasn't that super dark. He was suffering like his suit was not working properly. One time, he was trying to test the suit. It was not working properly. It's failing on him. And also he's suffering like anxiety attack. Panic attack. I think he's like suffering like post traumatic stress disorder. It's like I think he's suffering it for the first time. That's I really I can't explain how they're going in that direction. Because I understand with Captain America, he compete, because he fought in World War II, same as Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. Granted she never compete in the why the fuck I say compete? Fought in the war because she is a former Russian spy. She went from hell and back. And properly, Wanda, Petro. I'm naming characters who've gone through like maybe suffer PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Bruce Banner, maybe. Characters are not part of the MCU. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, because Luke Cage went spending time in prison as Carl Lucas. Jessica Jones, she got experimented on her. I might review those shows in the future. Danny Rand, Iron Fist, For Tony Stark, it's the first time. There were some scenes from Avengers 1, that's the last movie I reviewed in this series. There was, it was one scene, Tony was in bed. He was basically suffering he was having like bad dreams. There's, clips from Avengers 1. He got sucked in the wormhole, the portal. I keep saying Porto, the name of the Portuguese football team. But it's Portal, there's one scene like the suit's attacking Pepper, he can't control it, he was suffering like anxiety attacks in this movie. It's going in that direction because a lot of people have anxiety. It's not really a joking matter. Because Tony, because he was a billionaire. Stock industry, following his dad's footsteps, and then he got thrust in that situation in Afghanistan. He got kidnapped by the Ten Rings, put on the suit. You see people dying, and then. He became Iron Man, and he always trying to sacrifice himself for the greater good. That was, that's part of the character. He sacrificed himself in the end, in his final movie, in Endgames. So, I'm not going to talk about the whole plot, it'd be too long. This movie review is about 45 minutes, or 50 minutes. Try to keep it short and simple. Anyway, let's get to the rest of the cast. So, the originals are, Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Paul Bettany, John Farrow. Farrow's character was buried a lot in this movie, sorry. He got attacked by, the villain in this movie is the Mandarin. One of his henchmen attacked him in the mall. You got new characters. You got like Guy Pearce as his character name in this movie is called Aldrich Killian. That's his name. He's basically pulling the strings. You got Rebecca Hall as Maya Henson. I'll get to her character a little bit shortly. You got what's her name? You got like Stephanie, I'm gonna butcher this person's surname, Zusak as Ellen Brandt. You've got James Badge Dale as basically his name is what's his name? Eric Safin. That's his name. And you got and Ben Kingsley. I forgot about him. Ben Kingsley as Mandarin, the fake Mandarin, because the main villain of this movie was Guy Pearce's character. That was Aldrich Kelly. He was basically the main Mandarin. I think they misused the Mandarin character because the Mandarin is basically Iron Man's major foe. alongside probably like Vanco, Dynamo, Whiplash and Dynamo. I'm not really familiar with the villains of the Iron Man side. I know villains in the Spider-Man side and the Batman side, and a little bit of Superman, but not a lot of Iron Man. That's just me. That's just me. Anyway, so yeah, you got Rebecca Hall as Maya Henson. The Maya character they're trying to go into that direction because she's basically Tony's old flame, because in the beginning of this movie, almost said episode, but in the beginning of this movie, it was a flashback from 1999 going into the new decade, the new millennium, the year 2000. Tony met Maya in the New Year's party, and really, it shocked me, it hits me like a hammer. We got Jensen from the first movie, showing up at the New Year's party. This was like a decade before they met in the I think in Afghanistan when Tony got captured and tortured by the Ten Rings. This is about nearly a decade before they met in Afghanistan. So it really, like, I don't know, better the Easter egg. I don't know. Tony not just meets Maya, he meets Aldrich Killian. He offered him to, I think it was offered him like to be part of his business, but he turned him down. The character in the New Year's flashback, he was a bit nerdy, he was a bit crippled, he was walking on a walking stick. And then later on in this movie, in the present day, he was fine, he was handsome, he doesn't need the stick. I think he developed the extreme virus, they were like completely orange. Maya Henson, the character, they are trying to, I don't think they are trying to go into that direction. She trying to, like, doing this love triangle storyline, the plot in this movie between Tony, Pepper, and Maya. They completely stopped not really going in that direction. Like, in one scene, like, when, they captured Tony in the mansion, found out, like, the Mandarin was... And speaking of the Mandarin, Ben Kingsley's role as the Mandarin, actually the fake Mandarin, he was saying threatening threats, and also he shot like a guy in the head in one scene towards the president, because the president was watching it in his plane, and the guy got shot by the Mandarin. I don't know if I think he killed him or something like that, or maybe he's playing along. You find out it was an actor. He played that character damn well, Ben Kingsley. I thought it was funny, when Tony confronts him, he was like, he's not the all-powerful Mandarin, he's the fake guy. He was basically a funny guy. There's one scene, like, him and Rhodey tortured him with the gun. He was watching a football match, or soccer, if you're Americans. He was watching, I think it was I think the team was Liverpool. There was a picture of Martin Skirkle. If you don't know him, go look him up. I think it was against Chelsea or Everton, the team in blue. That was funny. It's a shame that he's never the true villain in this movie. I think the Guy Pearce's role in this movie, he was good. Out of the three villains in this movie, or four movies, villains in the Iron Man trilogy, I put him in, like, top three. The best one for me has to be, in my opinion, Obadiah Stane from the first movie, played by Jeff Bridges. Second place has to be Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell. Guy Pearce, did I say Guy Ritchie? Sorry, Guy Pearce, sorry. Yeah, Guy Pearce as Aldrich Cillian takes third place. Fourth place has to be, like, Mickey Rourke as Whiplash. What's his name? Eric Savin and Ellen Brandt. Yeah, they were very forgettable. They're gotta be one of the most forgettable villains in the MCU. Yeah, basically, they are not, they're basically working with the Mandarin, they're basically side characters. Brandt's character got killed off in Tennessee. It's funny that, also, Tony meets this kid called, what's the boy's name? I think that's, I think it's Harley? Not Harley. The kid in in Tennessee, can't remember. I think it was Harley. He basically met them met the kid in Tennessee, because after basically the Mandarin basically attacked Stark's house in Malibu, the house was basically crumbled. He managed to get out, escaped. Unfortunately, he crashed into the snow. I'm guessing they're going to that direction that it's Christmas. It's funny. It's very funny that they're doing a Christmas movie in May because the movie was released in May. I'm guessing they did it like what was it, December 2012. This movie was released in May of 2013. So yeah, this came off after the first Avengers movie. He met Harley. I think it's Is it Harley? I'm not gonna. I can't remember the kid's name. You know, it really books me in this movie. I don't want to get into it. So the kid was kind of funny. Okay, he's kind of pestering Tony a little bit. You know, about the Avengers and aliens. He kind of suffered another planet attack. And also in the end, he gave the kid like redecorate his lair. You know, it was full of technology. Not technology, but his workplace was updated. The kid came back in Endgames in Tony Stark's funeral. I'll talk about it again when I reviewed Endgames when they get to Phase 3. So he was okay in this. He was funny in this movie. He pestered Tony a lot. It was more like a father and son thing. It's a shame that Howard Stark didn't really appear. I know he's dead, but he never mentioned. Unfortunately, this movie never mentioned Howard Stark in this movie. They appeared in, the character appeared in like the first Iron Man movie and the second Iron Man movie, but you won't hear the character again until Captain America 3: Civil War. That'll be in 2016, 3 years later. You can tell with Tony and Harley. If you know what the kid's name from Iron Man 3, write it down in the comment section below. It's kind of gonna start to bug me a little bit. But anyway, so the kid and Tony. They kind of spend time as father and son. They're not really father and son, you know. He basically, the kid helped Tony to repair his damaged suit after the terrorist attack by the Mandarin. It's really funny that they're going in that political way in this movie because we saw it in the first movie when Tony got kidnapped by the Ten Rings in the first movie. Not in the second movie. They got away from the second movie, but the third movie, they're going in that political again. It had that with the Mandarin stuff. You can tell it has that ISIS vibe because in real life, in the next couple of years, the world got attacked by ISIS. You know, many countries got attacked by that group. You know, France got attacked in 2015 in Paris. Manchester in England got attacked in 2017. Belgium got attacked in 2016. I think Russia got attacked. You know, you can tell you don't talk about ISIS right now because it's yesterday's news. But back then, I feel like back then it had this ISIS vibe with Mandarin, the fake Mandarin, sending like threatening messages, and also a bit of Al Qaeda and Taliban. I think they mentioned in this movie they mentioned the name of Bin Laden and Colonel Gaddafi. You know, they're comparing like the fake Mandarin that is played by Ben Kingsley. Ben Kingsley, I think he's an Asian. I think he's got Asian descent. You know, because I think he plays Gandhi in the old films. He plays Mahabir Gandhi. He played there's one character, he plays the Hood in, he plays villains in his career, Ben Kingsley. He plays the Hood in the live action Thunderbirds movie. He played, it was a comedy movie, it's called The Dictator, starring with, Sacha Baron Cohen. He plays like Tamia, he plays the villain in that movie. He plays, you can call it a villain in Iron Man 3. He was not really the main villain. He's doing like Guy Pearce's character, his dirty work. So yeah, he had some. You can tell by his facial look. He's got that bit of an Asian look. You know, he's got a bit of an Asian heritage. Ben Kingsley. Anyway, Maya Henson. Rebecca Hall's character. Yeah, they're trying to. Unfortunately, they didn't really go in that direction of a love triangle. You know, she's trying to drive the wedge between the relationship between Tony and Pepper. She was not really a point character in this movie. You know, she was kind of working with, Killian. When she was harming Tony, grabbing by the throat. Maya grabs like an object towards her neck. something about like you don't want it to go hot, and Killian killed Maya, shot her in the guessing through the chest and died. So yeah, she was not really an important character. So what's really the point? It's very yeah, that was a very pointless decision. War Machine. They call him Iron Patriot in this movie. I like War Machine more. Yeah, Rhodey wasn't used a lot in this movie. Only a little bit a bit in the second act, and mostly in the third act. He was okay, but I think he had a better performance in better movies, in the future movies of Marvel, like in Captain America 3, Avengers 3, Infinity War, and Endgames. You know, it's not the last time we see this character. I can see Don Cheadle returning for the Falcon Winter Soldier movie. I could tell, probably show like a cameo. I don't know, his contract is expired. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, so yeah, we'll go into the president is changed because back in the previous timeline back then it was Barack Obama. Yeah, it was set in 2012. I'm guessing like the Marvel's version of Obama lost the election, but in real life Obama won the election. He beat Mitt Romney. Right now, our current timeline, I don't say our president, I'm not American, but the president in the current timeline is Joe Biden. A white guy, so I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I don't go into talk about politics a lot. Yeah, I talk about Trump, but I don't want to get into it, so. I thought the character, the character Eric Seven, who I think he was known as Cold Blood. Unfortunately, he wasn't called Cold Blood in this movie. He was just basically Eric Seven. Yeah, he was just no. I think he's one of the most forgettable villains in the MCU. He's just the henchman of Killian. He got killed off in the plane scene. Because Killian's going after the president, trying to kill the president. I thought he killed the president. Unfortunately, he kidnapped him. Put him in the War Machine suit, and trying to kill him in the oil rig. In the shipyard. He got killed by Tony Stark. Tony Stark fought Ellen Brandt, who barely had any. She had some lines, but she basically had. Only one scene. She was pitted in the Tennessee scene, fighting with Tony in Tennessee in the cold. He killed her character, played by Stephanie Zozak, she killed like a sheriff, and then he fought Tony, trying to stop Tony because he found out the truth about Chad Davis. That is, gotta be Eric Seven. So they fought in like a diner, and she got blown up. Because Tony set fire to the kitchen. He put the dog tags in the microwave. She got exploded, and then she's dead. You never saw him ever again in this movie. Seven got killed in the plane by Tony. Tony's chest piece, the reactor core did the super blast right through his chest, and he died eventually. I think Brandt and Seven are gotta be one of the most forgettable villains in the MCU. As for Aldrich Killian, I'm gonna call him Killian. It's gonna drive me mad. I put him in the middle tier of best of worst villains of the MCU. Not on the same level, like I said, he's the second best villain in the Iron Man trilogy of films, alongside, Justin Hammer and Obadiah Stane. He plays that killer. He's a manipulative, dastardly, almost say heel, but dastardly villain. The fight scenes, in the end, they tease like Pepper got killed. There's scenes like Pepper kind of fall off the crane and fall to the death in the explosion. You'll see the Tony's face that Tony challenged the Mandarin and gave out his address to call out the Mandarin, because basically because they did the terrorist attack in the mall in California in Chinatown. Hogan got badly wounded after his mini fight with Seven. And yeah, there was funny parts in this movie. With the basically when Maya came to the Stark's house. Actually, not just Tony Stark's house because Tony's not married to Pepper. I think he got married in probably at Endgames. That's just maybe I'm not 100% sure. So she came. Tony's had a funny line says about, please don't tell me we had a 12-year-old kid waiting in the car. And Maya says, 13, but no. Because Tony thought, like, one time in New Year's Eve 1999, Tony thought he knocked up Maya and had the kid. Because in the first movie, Iron Man 1, he had sex with Christina Everhart, That's Leslie Bidd. That's her character in the first movie, and also when Tony and Pepper bickered about the big bunny, and that's the funny part. There was a bunny in the house, and you never see the bunny ever again in this movie. They talk about it's a big bunny, deal with it, and also later on in the third quarter of this movie, Tony's still tied up. And the funny that there was a guy with the ponytail. It was the same guy trying to attack Ivan Vanko's, Whiplash, Mickey Rourke's character in Iron Man 2. He got killed off in the prison cell scene in Iron Man 2. He was the villain. He was basically the henchman in Killian's henchman in the third movie. It's funny part, like Tony says 543. He keeps saying 54321, trying to get the suit to arrive. That's kind of funny, and he managed to get the suit on. It was still rusty, and then also I think one of the hand kind of knocked that guy's with the ponytail out, and afterwards you got this guy who basically says, these guys are weird. I don't like this job anywhere. That's kind of funny. And when Tony put the suit on, says, "Told you." I like Robbie Downey Jr.'s character. Tony Stark. He plays the character as the likable asshole. I like him in these Iron Man movies, Avengers movies. Captain America 3. I'll get to that when we get to Phase 3. I think it's the first movie of Phase 3. We're so far in the Stars Phase 2. Anyway, and also when like the scenes with the suits fighting Mandarin's soldiers, and Tony's got the suit on. Where's my suit? I'm sorry, it only covers me because. Rhodey only accessed the War Machine suit. Funny part when Tony's calling Rhodey because Rhodey's doing a mission in Afghanistan or Iran, whatever parts of the Middle East country it's from. He calls Rhodey on the phone. He tells him about it. He's trying to give him his login to his suit, or I think it was access to his code, trying to hack Rhodey. He said that he gave out his username and his password. I think it was called War Machine 85X capital S, and I kind of laughed my ass off, and then the funny part, and the terrorist kind of laughed, and he threatened to shoot him. That was kind of funny. Anyway, not a lot to talk about. The guy, Pepper Potts with the Mandarin powers. She has like they kind of kidnap Pepper, experiment on her with the same powers like Savin got and Brant got and Killian got. Unfortunately, she didn't really have the powers that long, and sadly, they never brought the powers ever again. Because maybe her powers were not really only temporality, she didn't got it permanently. I think managed to get the powers out of Pepper. Basically, in one scene, Tony was calling Pepper on the phone I think it was near the gas station in Tennessee in the cold. He said about, sorry to put you in harm's way. And then basically Pepper put on the helmet of Iron Man. Found out she received the call of Tony. She kind of cried. She knows that he's still alive. Because I really kind of like Gwyneth Paltrow's character. She cares about Tony. He had feelings with Tony. Because it's a shame that in the second movie we never got to see more progression of the development of the relationship between Tony and Pepper. In this movie, they got it right. They didn't bring up the powers ever again. Because in the Endgame's battle with Thanos, she wears the purple Iron Man suit. or I think it should be called Iron Woman, because not Iron Girl, but Iron Woman. Because she's now married to Tony Stark. Tony Stark's Iron Man, and probably Pepper Potts is Iron Woman. I'm not gonna, try to get with the nickname, because because Batwoman was Katie Kane. Batgirl's Barbara Gordon. Anyway, let's get back to this movie review. Not really to talk about. Cover most of it. Yeah, in the end, Tony basically removed the actual the reactor core in his chest, and I think it's a contract thing, because I think at the time I thought this is going to be the end. I think back then I thought they're going to write off Tony Stark, and it's basically closing the chapter of Tony Stark's character. That was the end of Tony Stark and the end of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Tony Stark. Unfortunately, I think back then, his contract was expired, because he did the 4 movies, because he's been in Iron Man 1, he did Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Avengers 1, he put in a cameo in the Incredible Hulk movie, and Iron Man 3. So, you don't count the cameo in Incredible Hulk as he just showed up in the cameo in the post-credit scenes of the Incredible Hulk. But 4 movies. I think Marvel's really give him an offer that he cannot refuse, and he signed on to 2 more movies in the next 6 years, because he appeared in the next 3 Avengers movies, appeared in Captain America 3, appeared in Spider-Man Homecoming. I think you got to deal with money. He's a paid actor. You got to give an offer you cannot refuse. I think Marvel did, the MCU did, when the DC Extended Universe failed to do, because they lost. I think at this moment of time, they lost Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, because Henry Cavill plays Clark Kent Superman, Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne Batman. I think the actors still around is Margot Robbie, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I haven't saw the second movie, because shame it's on a different streaming site, and it's a shame I'm not going to see the Justice League the Snyder Cut. That'll be on a different streaming service. It's a shame, because Snyder's going to release his version of Justice League, the movie from 2017. Anyway. I think they failed to do it, because they didn't offer. If I was the head, the suit of the tie represent the DC Extended Universe, I'll give Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck offers they cannot refuse. Sign them on for future movies, basically Justice League 2, future Superman movies like Man of Steel 2, the Batman, instead of, I think it's Robert Pattinson's gonna be the new Batman. I don't know. I'm not buying into it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna end it. It's a shame, but with Marvel, I think they did it right. And also, I think they did the same with Natasha Romanoff, because Iron Man is the big 4 of the MCU alongside Spider-Man. I think with that, let me see if Robert Downey Jr. didn't do it, I think the MCU will be completely fucked, without Iron Man, or have a different actor playing the role as Iron Man. If they tend to do that, recast Tony Stark, recast Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, it won't be the same, because I think, like I said, Robert Downey Jr.'s character was legendary, it's iconic, alongside Heath Ledger's Joker and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and also what's his name? I'm gonna say Tom Holland, but Tom Hardy's Bane. He kind of made the character work. I'm glad he stayed on for future movies of the MCU. The Mandarin character didn't use its full potential in this movie. It's played by Guy Pearce. It was good, but I heard rumors the character of Mandarin's gonna be rebooted in the Shang-Chi movie that will be released in, is it this year or next year? Probably 2021, this year, or next year in 2022. It'll be back. I 100% will be back on cinemas, because at this time the pandemic's nearly at an end. Because in my country, it's the rate is falling. It's going in the right direction. We could see my favorite Marvel movies in the cinema in the no distant future. So, think that's it. I think I covered. Yeah, I think I covered that. I think I covered most of it. The post-credit scene. It's good to see Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. This is on the same situation as the post-credit scene from Avengers 1. Basically, Tony talks about being. I think he thinks Bruce is a therapist. He's not that type of doctor. You know, it's kind of funny. Sometimes I'm not. I kind of have a mixed bag of this because I only watch post-credit scenes if it's setting up a future movie. It was just there because you thought that Tony Stark's not gonna be Iron Man because there were a lot of narrated for Tony Stark say without the suit he's always Iron Man, and it's kind of right in this movie. I was kind of have a mixed bag because it's too much Tony Stark, not enough Iron Man. In this movie, he kind of outwits his villains. Because Tony Stark is a smart person. I think he doesn't really need the suit. You know, he's fighting villains. He used like wacky gadgets. You know, with I think it was an explosive Christmas ball and an electric gardener glove. You know, here's really a kick of this. He came back as Iron Man. He put the suit on for Age of Ultron 2 years later. It's like, wasn't really the point. The reason why they did this ending because of the contract situation with Tony Stark. You know, if Robbie Downey Jr. is, his contract is expired. Why did I say Tony Stark? But I say Robert Downey Jr. But I'm glad they did this ending, and then 2 years later he signed on, and he's back as Iron Man wearing the suit as in Age of Ultron in 2015. So I think that's it. I think that's it. No AC/DC track in this movie. I think we saw it in the first movie and the second movie, but the third movie not so much. The cameo appearance of Stan Lee. He showed up as a beauty pageant judge. He gave that person a 10. Stan Lee is Stan Lee. It's a shame that he's no longer with us. He's the godfather of superheroes. He's God. He created the superheroes like the Iron Mans, the Spider-Mans, the Hulks, the Thors, the Captain Americas. The list goes on and on and on. So yeah, I'm gonna end this movie review. So yeah, it's nothing else. It's not really much to talk about this movie. Because out of like 30 movies so far. It's gotta be 25 to 30 movies so far. I put this in I put it in the middle tier of the MCU. It's not like a terrible movie or forgettable movie of the MCU. But at the same time, it's not like, wow, it's a must-see movie. No, I think it was a fun movie, but it could be a lot better if they had used the Mandarin character that well. Like I said, Guy Pearce's character was good, but not great. The Mandarin character is going to get rebooted in the Shang-Chi movie. And I think they got it right with the relationship between Pepper and Tony. They fall in love because I think that in the endings, yeah, you basically had Tony gift Pepper like a necklace, so you can tell they got that department right than the second movie. So yeah, I think that's it. There's nothing else to talk about, So yeah, I'll give it a 3 star. Yeah, 3 stars. A fun movie. Because there's 2 movies of that year of the MCU. The next movie review I'm reviewing is Thor 2: Dark World. And yeah, we got Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. That was the two movies in 2013, and then in 2014 you got 2 movies of next year. That was Captain America 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and then I think in 2017 they did 4 movies. 3 Marvel movies. You got Thor Ragnarok. You got Spider-Man Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They did 3 movies in 2018. That is Black Panther, Avengers 3, and Ant-Man 2, 2019. You got you got Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, and Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm gonna end it, so yeah, I hope you enjoy my review of Iron Man 3. Yeah, not else to talk about. It was a fun movie. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Next time will be me reviewing Thor 2 Dark World.